Hi everyone, it's Jack here, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can turn storyboards into videos. Now, as you know, there are a lot of great programs and tools and prompts out there, and instead of me trying to tell you which prompts to use, I just went out and collected all of the best resources and prompts and plugged them into one GPT, because a good video comes down to a good character, location, and storyboard, and that is exactly what this GPT thrives on. So whatever tools you're using, let's try creating a video from scratch and see what we can do. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. So all I would do is go to GPTs. So now I'm on the GPT marketplace. And then if you search GPTs, as you can see, one of the recently used GPTs for me is Jack's Video Producer. And it's by this guy named John P. Schiller. And that is actually me because my birth name is John, but I go by Jack. So you probably don't have this in your search history. So you would just search Jack's Video Producer. And then that shows up and you click on this GPT and then you can start a chat. You can use this however you want. All I'm going to say is I want to make a video. So let's start there. What is the idea that we want? So let's just say I want to make a video of a day in the life. Let's say a day in the life of a water droplet. And you don't have to add details here, but I will say some random things like maybe I want the style to be animated and illustrated and adorable. I want it to be hilarious. And let's keep it overall simple and avoid excessive dialogue or text. So just some ideas. I could also just say I want a day in the life of a water droplet. Okay, so now we have a core direction. So basically a simple, adorable animated short about one tiny water droplet trying to get through an ordinary day, walking on a leaf, commuting down a gutter, having a bath by accident, surviving a thirsty houseplant, and ending somewhere cozy. The comedy comes from the droplet treating mundane water cycle moments with outsized seriousness, random but natural, with little or no dialogue. Obviously, I'm letting it come up with that narrative, but if I wanted a very specific sequence of what I want the activities to be, then I could tell it to do that. As you can see, it's asking me to clarify that this is good before we just start generating prompts. And I like this. Right now, a lot of video generators are 15 seconds. Some are coming out that will allow you for 30 or 60-second clip generation. But right now, to get the best bang for your buck, we can do multi-shot 15-second clips one at a time. I want the video to be 30 seconds in total. Okay, great. So we can do 30 seconds in total built as two connected 15-second clips, and the aspect ratio is 16:9. So clip one is that the droplet wakes up on a leaf, gets launched by a bird shaking the branch, and then lands in a gutter like it has arrived at work. And then clip two is that it rolls through a drain pipe, gets briefly employed by a thirsty houseplant, and then relaxes in a sunny puddle at the end of the day. Okay, that's cute. So now that we have the basic idea, we need the who of the story, we need the where of the story, and we need the what of the story. And basically that just means we need to create the character sheet, and we need to create the location sheet, and we need to create the storyboard sheet, so that we have everything remaining consistent. So right now, the first asset that we automatically want to create is the character sheet. This means it can make the droplets design before we actually begin anything, so that the design of the water droplet is a consistent character. It already gives us a file name that it recommends that we use. Great, we can just say, let's do that and create the character sheet. So I'm going to upload that. So here is the character sheet prompt. I'm not generating the actual image unless you explicitly ask me to. I know a lot of you guys are probably using like Higgsfield or Runway or OpenArt, or you're using the individual tools and combining them in your own way. So whatever your workflow is, this can work with it. And so what I'm going to do is just copy this image prompt for the character sheet And then in my case, I'm using the image generator from ChatGPT. So I'll click create an image and then just paste in that prompt. So let's upload that. And then I recommend having a file where you just host all of these images that you're creating. So in my files, I'm just going to create a new folder that says assets. And now when I download any images, I can plug them into this folder and keep them organized. Because as you can see, it gives me the recommended file name so that everything is easy to maintain and it's just organized and consistent. Okay, so this is our character sheet. And obviously, if I want to make any adjustments to this, I can do so. But I think for now that should work. So I'm going to download this file and use this recommended file name. So let's copy this. And now I have the file named like this. So now that we have the who, we need the where. So if I scroll down, the next step is the where. This is the location sheet. So if this is okay, reply make the location sheet prompt and I'll generate that next. So now that we have the character, I'm going to copy and paste this and then we can get the location. Okay, cool. So this is the location sheet prompt. This is just a prompt. It's not the actual image, obviously, but just proofreading this looks like something we can use. So I'm going to copy this prompt and go back into my image chat and just paste that prompt in. And this way we can create the location. This looks good. Okay, let's upload that. Okay, sweet. I like it. This is the location reference sheet that we created. I like this and we can download it. And let's see, let's go back into our main chat. And it says that this is the recommended file name. So I replaced the name and we have the files downloaded for the character sheet and for the location sheet. So now that we have the who and the where, now we want to go back into the chat and get the what. So the next step is the storyboard sheet, and that is to generate the first 15-second clip. Cool. So if this is okay, reply make the storyboard prompt for clip 1 and I'll generate that next. So I'm going to copy that and just say approved, make the storyboard prompt. Cool. So it generated the prompt to create that storyboard. So I'm proofreading this, and for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to go through all of this in depth, and we can just copy this prompt here. So back in our main chat where I generate the images, we have the character sheet and we have the location sheet. Now we have the storyboard prompt and I'm pasting that in. And this is optional, but what I can do is go into these files and use them as reference images so that the storyboard is based off of the character and location images that we just generated. Now I've attached the reference images and given the prompt for the storyboard, I'm going to upload that. And now it is creating the image for the storyboard. All right, nice. As we can see, the first thing is that there's a wide establishing shot with the tiny droplet beginning a very ordinary day. And then he wakes up, stretches, exists, and all that kind of stuff. And then a small interruption arrives. A commute begins unexpectedly because of the bird on the tree branch. Then there's a brief but emotional journey. And then lastly, he arrives at work. I'm going to download that. Nice. So we have our storyboard, we have our location, and we have our character. And in this main chat, we can see that the next step is to generate clip 2. I like the clip 1 storyboard, so I want to reply and say make the storyboard prompt for clip 2 now. So let's upload that. Here is the storyboard prompt for clip 2. Yeah, this just continues the narrative, so I'm going to copy that and go back into our image chat, and I'm going to attach those reference images again for the character and for the location, and then paste in that storyboard prompt. So normally I would just proofread this, but right now it's continuing off of the storyboard that we already made, so I think this is good. If I had changes to make, then I would go back into this main chat and just say like, yo, let's adjust these elements or something. But I think we can work with this, so I'm going to upload that. All right, so that's the route continues in shot 1, and then there's a new assignment with the plant, and then an unexpected job is appearing here. And then we have the water droplet being productive and watering the plant. And then we have the water droplet leaving the workspace and then arriving to a nice puddle. So let's download that. And now I have the storyboard 1 and storyboard 2, along with the location and character references over here. So this is where you can use whatever video generator you want. There are all these video hosting platforms as well. So whether you're using Higgsfield or Runway or OpenArt or something else, it's totally fine. In my case, I'm going to open up a new tab and use the platform called Runway. Here I can add several reference images in order to generate a video. So in my files, I'm going to add the character, and then I'm going to add the location, and then I'm going to add the first storyboard and leave it at that. Now that I have the who, where, and the what, I'm just going to add in a short prompt so that I can turn this into a video. Since we are doing the image to video generation now, this prompt can be very simple because as you can see, this storyboard contains all of the basic information that the video generator would need. So I can type in my own prompt, but as you can see in our main chat, it actually gives us a short image to video prompt that we can use for this storyboard. So let's copy that and put it into the chat. And then we want to make sure that we increase the duration from 5 seconds to 15 because this is a multi-shot sequence. So that's clip 1, and now we can click generate. So then I'm going to open up a new generation with Runway and do the second part of the storyboard. So I'm going to attach the character and then the location and then the next part of the storyboard. At the bottom, it gives us another short image to video prompt that we can use for this second storyboard. So I'm going to copy this. So I might make some adjustments or make the prompt more simple, but overall we have the prompt in here and we have the reference images. I'll make sure that the duration for the clip to be generated is 15 seconds, and then we can click generate. Nice. So now we are generating 2 clips and they are both 15 seconds long. Now, at this point, you can use whatever software, program, or tool that you want in order to combine these clips together. Maybe there's one clip that you want to get rid of, or you want to adjust the timing of things. There's CapCut, Descript, and Runway itself even has its own editing studio. And if you guys want a tutorial on any of those tools, then let me know. In this case, I'm just going to use Adobe Premiere Pro because I don't know if I'm ever going to have an excuse to use Adobe products ever again. All right, guys, as you can see, our video has been generated. I can use AI to actually upscale the resolution of this. But either way, we have a 15-second clip. Let's download this clip, and then I'll show you what it looks like with everything put together. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.